Hello. I am live. Excellent connection, it says. Can you see me? Shoot. Hold on. Hi. Okay, I'm there. Hello. Okay, I'm going to turn this off. Right? Uh oh. Okay, everyone. I think we're live. I don't think so. 717 FEMA Region 5, Detroit, Michigan. Hammerstein here. Hammer. BJ Hammerstein. I want to check my phone one more time just to make sure we can see me. And we can, right? Yeah, that looks like me, like a weirdo. All right, so I don't know. Oh, yeah, the chat seems to be working good too. Okay, so I think. Let's see, does this work here? I'm sorry, everyone. This is a little rough beginning. I don't know if anyone's even watching besides me, but that's okay. I need to practice this. This seems to be pretty easy. Does that do? Oh, see, and then I can move my comments over here. You could see that probably too. And it should disappear in 15 seconds, I think. So that is good. 8:01 p.m. This feels weird doing it live. Really, this is a test show. I'm here to talk and hang out a little bit. I am going to probably keep it recorded. Um, and I'm sorry, I am looking at a lot of things. This is good for a few minutes in case people do join. Also, I shut all the windows and it's super. It turned off all the fans, and you can start to see me sweating. Shadow, luckily, did fine. There are two windows open. My sort of bedroom window, which is in the south. There's not really any cars there. And earlier today, my neighbors were jamming music, and I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot. There's a lot of times there's like loud party music coming into my house from the neighbors, but I got lucky tonight, and Shadow moved back into the kitchen window, which is a spot that she likes to hang out. I had to turn off her water fountain. There's a bunch of things I do to set up for the videos so it sounds all right. Please leave a comment if you're watching. I don't know who's here, if anyone's here at all. I have some links I'm going to play, uh, and some articles I'm going to go through, a story or two I'm going to tell, I believe. This is pretty fun. Did this. Oh, the link, this thing's still there? I got to maybe manually close it. That's okay. Hi, Amanda. I could actually, like, say, I could see. I don't know how long the delay was before I saw the. What do you call that? A comment? How's it going? You know I'm not very popular. Don't you? Might want to change your name. How are you doing, Amanda? There's a few people I think that are going to be here tonight. I appreciate everyone that's kind of following me and hanging out with me. I should go to. This will be fun for a second. Let's do this. Oop. Excuse me a second here. I just wanted to show you guys something on my Facebook page, which is oh shoot, I'm using the wrong excuse me. I'll get it right. Safari. Listen, my machine, it's like starting to heat up already. Well, my face, I have forget about my Facebook page right now, but I have like 3,200 or so people that follow me. Thank you, Amanda. It only took a second to get the comments, and that's good. So I think ultimately my videos that I'm making right now, I'm going to start doing it live. I believe it's going to be easier from an uploading perspective. But for like Amanda, here's a story. There's 3,200, 3,300, maybe it's 3,100 something Facebook friends that I have. A lot of them through the Free Press years. Uh, Facebook wasn't around during Real Detroit years. That was MySpace. I started Twitter in 2008 when or was I working at the State House of Representatives then? Um, but a lot of my Facebook people are people in, I covered arts and entertainment mostly. And so I have a lot of different people in the industry, lots of media people, people that read my articles, of course, people that heard me on the radio, as I was sometimes on the Drew and Mike show. I did Chuck, Dave and Chuck the Freak. I kind of made the radio rounds a little bit there. That's why I kind of want to do this podcasting thing eventually, or I guess I'm doing it as I'm sweating my Saturday night away. But when you're telling the truth, you get very little likes, very little comments. And I learned this back in 2013, 2014 when I was trying to warn the state of Michigan. Really, my 3,200 people or so of the Facebook like crowd, my audience there, that's like a main crowd that I want to get these videos to. And these algorithms, of course, they're no good for that. No good at all. So I wish I knew. Maybe there's something I could see here. How many people? Oh, there's 3 viewers, 4 viewers. Look at that. We're getting somewhere. I I try not to watch too many YouTubers or Rumble or BitChute. I want to have sort of my own voice. I kind of pull a lot of my news and information from Telegram. There was a reason why I was going to say this story. Um, I don't really watch a lot of what people are saying and what people are doing right now. I am mostly collecting information from the mainstream. Oh, I remember the story now. I do watch the War Room with Steve Bannon and one Real America's Voice, and I pretty much watch the morning and then the evening. You don't necessarily have to watch all 3 hours of it because they sort of cover the same thing. But I like that because they're really grounded in their work. However, Eric Prince was on Friday, and I have respect for Eric Prince, but he was Blackwater, and those people scare me. And going back to like the Iraq War days and 9/11 and George W. Bush, it was an easier time because we really hated war. Now it's a asymmetrical war. It's sort of uh, strange, bizarro warfare going on here. So that's good. This is the new media. Things are getting interesting. Oh, look. Let's share Amanda's. This is the new media. Things are getting it interesting. It'll catch on. It has to. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know that like CNN's ratings. I know Donald Trump likes to send out notes about it and make fun of it. Uh, all their ratings are terrible, and I know that the newspapers can't be doing well. And I mean, I'm watching all this stuff and I'm reading it, and like, I can't believe that these reporters aren't pushing back on their editors. Maybe that's why I don't work in the newspapers anymore, is because I did push back, and I don't like hearing some of these answers when you can't do stuff or you shouldn't do stuff. I don't know if I want to tell that story or not. I had to interview Bill Cosby. Uh, this was at the Free Press. So I left the Free Press 2014. So sometime, whenever it was, and he definitely was in trouble, and I knew about it, and I asked an editor about it, and we basically came. He said, we're doing a favor. It was a charity event, I believe, and what was really kind of interesting about Bill Cosby is this is if you're a professional actor or actress, or going to be one day, when you're doing all your press stuff, if you're real good, you write down the name B.J. Hammerstein. So when Bill Cosby calls up B.J. Hammerstein, and then you have 15 minutes with him on the phone, and then he just tells like two or three stories, and you don't get a chance to answer any questions, and that's kind of how they did that stuff back then. Hollywood, it is. I'm kind of going down this sort of talk real quick. Is sacred cows. I was in an email with a viewer, and I don't have too many sacred cows, and I might destroy a few more of them tonight before it's all over. Let's share the screen though. Let's see what we got. We got. Hold on a second. Let's check out the gadgets. We got the iPhone working, so that means I could go to Telegram and I could start sharing things. Oh, like this, in case you missed it. Report reveals connection between. Oh, my face is supposed to be here though. Still, that's weird. We could just see the full screen of the Telegram. Sorry. Reports reveal connection between Jeffrey Epstein and Chris Cuomo's wife. How about that? We're not going to really. Uh-oh. Maybe that's what's going on here. Oh, I see. I see. I see. Okay. I had to do that. I have to, as I'm doing this live, I have to still kind of figure out what I'm doing. So let's start out with this clip over here. You've seen it already. This is actually an interview, though, with Liz Harrington. But we're going to start it. I'm sorry. We're going to start it with this creep.
I mean, it really, well, look, the only pandemic we have is among the unvaccinated. And they're killing people.
Again, Liz, we've now seen the White House admit to working with these social media companies to flag content on these private companies. Since the government's now getting involved, is this a way of limiting free speech? And what precedent might this set? Where does it end?
Well, exactly. It doesn't end pretty, I can tell you that. And I guess, Joe Biden's going to have to ban himself. He's the one who's saying, oh, I don't know, if President Trump's talking about a vaccine, I don't want to take it. Kamala Harris needs to be banned as well. This is absolutely authoritarian. It's Marxist. It's un-American. And this whole theater between, they're back and forth with Facebook, no, that's a sideshow. They work hand in glove on this and censoring opinions that they don't approve of. This is a dire threat to our country. Again, this is why President Trump sued big tech, because it's that important. It's whether we still have a constitution. It's whether we still have the United States of America. And frankly, I don't believe Joe Biden when he says, oh yeah, communism doesn't work. Well, he certainly seems to think it works in communist China, who he's totally beholden to, and he's sending Hunter to get $1.5 billion deals there. He and the Democratic Party certainly think it works because they're trying to bring it here, and we have to stop it.
Yeah. All right. Oop. So Liz Harrington works for Trump, and she answered it so well because when this Facebook element, so Biden just said the only pandemic is with the un-V. Hi, Eddie Reich. Look at you guys. Look. Hi, Eddie and JV. Awesome stuff. Where was I just at? Oh, so Biden, the pandemic's only with the un-V. That's very interesting to me. Is that possible? And then he's working with Facebook. That's nonsense. Facebook, spent all the money on the elections and everything like that. And it's all phony baloney. This is funny doing this live show. I wasn't expecting to see an Eddie Reich over there. So let's... and what are we going to do? Like door to door? I mean, so the question isn't... For me, it's not really Republican or Democrat, even though obviously there's parties involved. we have to end the parties. I talk about this all the time. I think it's really American and un-American, and there's really a lot of un-American things happening with a lot of un-American people. So anybody who is watching, feel free to ask questions about what I think about things, or anything really, because otherwise I'm just going to kind of go through some Telegram accounts and some news and notes that I missed. We could do some headlines though right now since it is Saturday night. Let's take a look around the news maybe and see what's going on tonight. Most people, the newspapers, so it's like they make the Sunday paper like through the week, and they try to, this is what we did at the Free Press anyway. We ended the Sunday paper on Friday, and then they leave what's called news holes. So if for instance, like it started to rain, it was a beautiful night today, so it's not going to rain tonight, but if there was a big flooding story or a big crime story or something happens, they have different spots on the front page or different spots in the newspaper itself to fill in on a Saturday. But most of the Sunday paper is already made, so the weekends at the newspapers kind of get slowed down. So that's why Friday night's always an interesting time. We'll start looking at headlines at George News. George News was John F. Kennedy Jr.'s publication. Yesterday, July 16th, 1999, was the anniversary, I think the 15th anniversary of their plane crash. And in the sort of the conspiracy world, there is a element of the Kennedys that's pretty fascinating, I have to say. But let's take a quick look at George, which is a gorgeous looking magazine. I should probably send them a resume, huh? Hey, George, if anyone's watching out there, look how talented I am. 3 fully vaccinated Democrats test positive for COVID after packing private plane fleeing Texas to block GOP from passing voting laws. George News. There was another, earlier today I saw a clip. I think it was a British medical professional, like with the government, and he said that he was vaccinated 2 times and just acquired the COVID. Well, hello there, Susan. Hi, Susan. What's going on? You're a little late. Oh, I'm just kidding. Please ask questions, though. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. I don't know. Did you guys all get the invite when it came out today? I'm running this through YouTube, but I have an application called Ecamm Live, which I use, which is with the Mac only. And so I set it up through Ecamm Live, the live stream, through YouTube. But it looks like everything's kind of working. And this is going to be fun. I'm going to probably do my shows like this in the future. And then the question is, am I going to do them in the morning or in the evening? And I am sorry if you hear a little lawnmower action. Hopefully there's not too much happening. Comedian Bill Burr, he's actually really funny. He wrote for the Chappelle Show. I did not interview him. I interviewed Charlie Murphy. I might have interviewed Bill Burr. I saw him live a couple times. Comedian Bill Burr rips effing morons at CNN for Trump coverage. It's true. Dana White says the TV not showing Donald Trump during UFC 264 was a massive F-up. This is interesting right here. Can you see right there? Where's my mouse? It was all like Congress was evacuated on January 6th due to a pipe bomb threat, not because of Trump supporters walking halls. We're going to have to see how this all comes out. It's, I've been, I see what Susan says. She has been here, but no live chat visible until now. Cool. Thanks for being here. I was just teasing with you earlier. And, Susan's been, where do you live, Susan? You're in like northern Michigan, is that right? By Antrim County at all? That's interesting. I don't know. Let's look at some more news. Let's go to CNN. What's going on with CNN right now? Say goodbye to your carefree COVID summer. Has it been a carefree COVID summer? It might be a carefree COVID summer for some of my friends that I see traveling around state to state to state. I might be talking about a Reich that saw earlier in my chat. Looks like he's having a good time, which I'm very happy about. Say goodbye to your carefree COVID summer. Cases are up in every state, vaccinations are down, safety protocols are being reinstated. Summer is getting a reality check. Spike Lee announces Khan's winner early, leaving audience gasping. I don't. Britney Spears calls out those who didn't lend a hand when she was drowning. That's interesting too. A German soccer team walked off the field during a match over alleged racial abuse. They should probably just put a break on sports for a little bit, especially the Olympic stuff. I'm sure that's a popular opinion. We're at the Gateway Pundit. Dem Rep Joyce Beatty storms U.S. Capitol, arrested and released soon after, while Trump supporters languish in isolation in prison for 6 months for same offense. Yeah, it's again, it's not really about. I mean, I guess it is for some people, Democrat and Republican, but today, July 17th, 2021, people should really leave all that political party baloney behind them and say what is good for our country and the people of our country and ultimately the world. And what's going on right now, you can't convince me that what's going on right now is good for the world. America First rally in Anaheim canceled. We have a duty to call out speech that doesn't reflect our city and its values. That's interesting. Man shot dead at point blank range in broad daylight in Democrat hellhole in New York City. We'll move on. Let's go check out Miami. Miami Herald. Before designing a Surfside condo that fell, engineer had hand in another building mess. If you follow all this stuff, it seems like we kind of go in circles. And I was thinking about past lives again. And that Rockefeller video I made yesterday, there was a couple articles I think I saw when I was doing the research beforehand about the 1918 Spanish flu stuff, and that I don't remember seeing before it. And there's so many parallels. It's really interesting. I wish everyone could do the research that I've done or saw the things that I've seen. Then that would make more sense. What's up with the New York Post? Would-be Queen's kidnapper was with his dad when he snatched boy. Yeah, so Saturday's not going to be too much on, breaking news, things really happening. At least not with mainstream news channels and news sources. It's getting to be a bit too much. Yeah, this would have to be the biggest story happening in Detroit. Again, I'm in Southwest Detroit, a neighborhood called Mexican Town. And right to the west is Dearborn, and then Dearborn Heights, and then it's Detroit. I'm in Detroit, and on the east side of Detroit, just on the east side, is Grosse Pointe. And over this last month, and then there's also been flooding in all the burbs all over the place. But on sort of both sides of me, Dearborn and Grosse Pointe, really bad flooding, and the people on Facebook are very upset, and it's not climate change. It's rain, but it's bad infrastructure. And it might be pump things not doing what they're supposed to be doing and other things like that, but it's not climate change. Hundreds protest at Henry Ford hospitals are at the Free Press right now. Oh, that was the Detroit News, the weather story. And then the Free Press. My body, my choice. Let me call my own shots. That's a good poster. Doesn't look like too many people were there today. Hundreds protest at Henry Ford hospitals over COVID-19 vaccine mandate. You got the greatest draft classes for the Lions, Piston, Red Wings, and Tigers. Oh my. All right, so we'll leave that alone. What should we do now? Moon orbit wobble. Let's put that out here. Susan says moon orbit wobble. I remember when I learned about the Earth wobble, and it seems okay. I remember when this is so 2013. I'm working for the Free Press, and obviously I had these conspiracy sort of elements in my life, my whole life, really. And my first, I've talked about this before. My first newspaper job was at the Roswell Daily Record, Roswell, New Mexico. It was, I think it's July 5th, 1947. I know that my last sort of big day at the Roswell Daily Record, or my last big assignment, it was the International UFO Festival. Sorry, International UFO Festival, which happens on July 4th weekend. And there was a cool band that came into town from Lubbock, Texas. I talked to the female singer. But right from there, I moved to Novi, or not. I moved in with my buddy Jamie, who was earlier. He was the Riken here earlier. NASA says to expect more rain for that reason. That's exactly right. The moon wobble is going to cause the Detroit and Grosse Pointe floods in the near future. um, but from Roswell back to Novi News, Royal Oak with this guy here. But I was always into the conspiracy things. So 2013, I'm at the Free Press, and 2014, I'm way gone from the Free Press in January, and I sort of spent my judges stuff like it was the first half of 2014 that I was doing the online sort of work trying to drum up support and fund a GoFundMe project that would have taken me a couple years to complete, which I was going to expose all this stuff and the first big kind of conspiracy. Well, I looked into a bunch in 2014, but like one of my favorites was Flat Earth. I love Flat Earth, and then it was the moon. NASA is assholes. Operation Paperclip, Project Paperclip. That is the Nazi scientists being brought back to start all of our intelligence agencies, and that's pretty important. And 19. So this is all like at the end of World War II, 1945, 46, 47. The Roswell incident was 47, and Grand Rapids became the first city to fluoridate their water. Grand Rapids, Michigan. I think that was in 1947. So, yeah, there's and fluoridated water. That's a fun conspiracy to go down. But I've been down the water, and my friend Jamie Reich, who was in here earlier, we used to talk about. We saw Waterworld together, the Kevin Costner horrible movie, and but we always talked about how great Michigan was because of the fresh lake water and how important that resource would be. And it's true. It is. And I'm such a weirdo with that fluoridated water stuff that I actually only drink distilled water. And every once in a while, like when I go out to dinner with my family or something, I might get a pop or I might get a beer. But all day long, I don't drink coffee. This is great. From Susan. $100 to anyone who can provide a non-CGI photo of the big blue marble. There isn't one. And what is the Van Allen radiation belts? The Van Allen belts, is that right? It's such a... I was with my father the other day, and we had a great dinner, me and my cousin and my dad. And my dad just moved back to Michigan from Indianapolis, so it's pretty awesome. And he doesn't fully he gets it. He just wants me to be like the old fun Like the old version of me, all I wanted to do was kind of go out and and go to concerts, and I did. This is like I made my life kind of what I wanted to do, and professionally, it was really cool. I went out every night, and that was basically what my job was. And I was fun. I was fun to be around, and my friends. I was a fun person to be a friend with because I got into cool events and everything like that, and that was always fun for people to get to go places with me. That was cool. It was good. It was a good time. So a lot of people miss that version of BJ, and this goes back, I guess, Amanda, to the earlier Facebook stuff, which is once you kind of see all this, we aren't fun anymore. This is what happens. We aren't fun anymore. And it's a sad thing. And so interesting with me is because I've been doing this like there's a lot of people that just woke up, in really the election, well, the lockdown and then the election woke people up. So there's a lot of people that are brand new to all of these things and didn't understand it, or maybe suspected a couple things here and there, but now all the trap doors have opened up, and you could fly down or fall down a rabbit hole any moment, it seems like. uh I forgot. It's fun for you. Amanda says it's fun. You like talking about this stuff, Amanda. This stuff is, to me, it's the most fascinating thing in the world. Why? Like, so I covered TV shows and movies and concerts, and I thought that was the most incredible thing. And I really took it seriously, and I loved the shows, and but I only understood the exoteric element. But when you compare like the TV shows and the movies to what's happening in real life, this stuff is unbelievably so much more interesting. The sort of the secret histories and alternative histories. Everyone's making this big stink about the CRT. But really, shouldn't the schools maybe just stop teaching theories? Like, if we just teach theories, then what are we teaching? But I mean, there are certainly elements that of our history, what we're taught in, especially in public school. The private schools, you could probably get a real education depending on where you go. But public school, people don't like me to say it, but we should really be making homeschool networks. I don't have a gig. I could probably be a homeschool teacher if you guys want. We could do Zoom classes, all that stuff. I was saying this, and again, this makes me not real popular. I agree with Amanda here, who says, we're curious by human nature, explore, learn, dive in. It's great. I think that the planet Earth experience is the great school of life, and we're supposed to learn till the end. And the fact that we're not allowed to ask questions, and it's only one narrative for all. I mean, this is, again, that's pretty un-American to me. And it's our First Amendment is free speech and all that good stuff. So the right to assemble. Let us assemble, please. Here's a question from my buddy JRR. Susan, if you're listening, which you are, what is the value of land in the UP if all the fresh water depletes? I don't know if all the fresh water would really deplete. They might try to keep it from us. There's a lot of secrets about water underneath the land, like the way that they taught the earth to be with the hot burning core in the center. That might not really be the case. But going back to your question, what is the value of land in the UP if all the fresh water depletes? It's not much then. You would have to, right? It's all about the water. I wanted to move to the UP in 2014. It didn't happen though. The people that I was going to move in with. What is the value of land in the UP? This is Susan's response. Lots of water, but don't eat the fish. I don't know. Uh, ooh, look how sweaty I am. Sorry, guys. That was gross. I don't have any air, and it's hot in here. All right. So, yeah, I'm kind of lost. What were we just talking about? All these things, water. Got to get down to the primary water. What's that mean, Susan? I have a book about water that I'm not going to share right now, but it's in the distilled water. There's going to be a time I want to make a documentary, and this actually is the time to do it. I There was a friend that we have. Jamie knows the friend of one of our buddies who's out in LA, who's a producer. And when I first made these videos, he reached out to me, and because I did mention a couple of things, and it was nice that he reached out. I actually should get back to him, but I have a really great idea for a documentary film that is very timely, and it's crazy. It's crazy. And it's all about water ultimately, and medicine, and alternative medicine. It's like the funnest conspiracy theory. It's too much. But it's a really great book. I have it right over there. I could grab it in a second, except my armpits are all wet right now, and I don't want to reach up. I did want to look at. Let me find. Ask me some more questions. Oh, she doesn't live in. Susan doesn't live up north, Jamie. I live in Southwest Michigan, where 40 years ago the Farm Bureau, I can't see, mixed cattle feed with flame retardant, and that was a disaster. There's. Do you think they meant to do that disaster, Susan? There's a lot of like disasters that kind of happen, and it seems like it's sort of purposeful. I know that that's a very conspiratorial sort of thing for me to say, but you should see all the things that I've been looking at, and look at where we are right now. How could you not? How would we not look into these things? Like Amanda said, it's our nature. It's we're naturally curious. We want to know. Denying us the ability to seek the answers. Jamie, you have lots of children. I bet you probably want to fight a little bit through all this stuff. It's really interesting time. I guess that my niece and nephew, who are in their teens, are living relatively normal lives at the moment, but it really hasn't been that way. I don't think for them this last year and a half at all. All right, so I wanted to just cover real quick some loose end business wise with my like regular note stuff. There is a rally that Unlocked Michigan is going to be putting together. Like a big guilty grudge. Guilty grudge. Let me find this where this thing is. Sorry, everybody. It's coming up. The Gateway Pundit. Oh, here it is. Trump won rally. With some of the recent revelations about Arizona's and Georgia's elections coming out, we need to let the world know we demand a forensic audit in Michigan to regain trust in our elections. July 20th, 2021, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m., 8 Mile and Haggerty Road, northeast corner and southwest corner, Trump Unity Bridge. This guy, they arrested them in Detroit when at the Brandon rally after 11/3. The Trump Unity Bridge will be attending the Trump rally. Let me read this one paragraph too. Only one day after the release of the results of the Arizona audit, the Michigan Conservative Coalition Group has announced that they're hosting a huge Trump One rally in Michigan on July 20th. The flyer for the event mentions Arizona and Georgia's elections results and asks Michigan residents to come out and join them to demand a forensic audit as a way to regain trust in our elections. And I think so. This is the group also that was doing it, or no, actually, this is the group. Michigan GOP. So I forgot to mention this story earlier. Michigan GOP executive director who criticized Trump part ways. Michigan Republican Party Executive Director Jason Rose said he has resigned. The latest development, a string of controversies embroiling the state GOP over former President Donald Trump. What the Detroit News, the conservative newspaper. Oh, I stopped looking at the. You got 4 kids, Jamie. Jamie has 4 kids in this crazy pandemic environment. How old's the oldest? I'm sorry, I'm reading the Susan's comments right now. I'm gonna drop them right here so you can see them too. I guess you guys can read them in the chats. Um, Let me go back to this. I'm like too many things. Working the board, trying to talk, trying to think about things. It's not really a one man job doing this, but hey, we'll make it work, right? The dream is to do this in like a real studio with real newspaper stuff and crew around where I could really focus on one thing at a time. But what they're getting wrong, the media's getting wrong, and I'll say this every single day, so they until they get it right. Again, is this guy Rowe? Oh, he's a GOP guy, and he's in a fight with Trump, and now he had to leave. It's Trump's party. Like all the GOP Republicans that didn't stand up for Trump when it counted, they're not worth anything right now. And really, that's the whole party. That's how it is. That's just fact. And there are some members of the Republican Party that are good. There are some members of the Democratic Party that are good. hmm And one day they'll probably make up the establishment party, and then there'll be like American First Party, and then there'll be different people that will debate each other on what are the best American First qualities. I always think about like, could you imagine if all the resources they spent, propagandizing us, poisoning us, destroying all these things, putting on all these wild events, like if they use that stuff for good, how quickly everything could get better. And when they shut down everything, I was pretty surprised and shocked, actually, shocked really, at how quickly everything was shut down. And then I realized it's a lot easier to tear things down than to build things up. And so I do worry as we're in this downward spiral that it's just going to come crumbling down rather than us building things up. And where I also was thinking about like, I was talking to Susan earlier, this Susan here on email, and we were kind of talking about, well, I should probably maybe get into that right now. Let me finish this story, and then we'll go to the Ghost Ezra, and we'll talk identity for a minute. Because Detroit is not the same Detroit as Detroit. When there was a Super Bowl, and I shared this in like the first video that I made back about a year ago. A big famous moment for me. I was on NBC News. I got the call. It was the day after the Super Bowl. Brian Williams, producer, calls me up. I'm at the office early, and I don't know. I just had a feeling that I needed to be back at work because that Super Bowl story seemed like a big story. I wrote about commercials for the Super Bowl that night, and it was the M&M Chrysler ad. And so then they put me on NBC News, and really we were talking about not just well, the ad sort of, you know, embodied Detroit, the Detroit spirit, which was what I describe as, gritty, blue collar, unique and original. And I don't think that Detroit exists anymore. We're not unique. We're not original. We're not really blue collar. This has been a long sort of, I don't know, the identity removal from all these places. It seems like it's a bummer. I do have to read this one story though here, because I forgot this story. Michigan Senate repeals emergency powers law. Whitmer can't veto. Michigan Republican senators used a relatively obscure procedural tactic Thursday to repeal an emergency powers law in a manner that prevents Governor Gretchen Whitmer from issuing a veto. The Senate voted 20. The Senate voted 20 to 15 along party lines in favor of a petition pushed by a group called Unlock Michigan and other critics of the governor that would repeal the Emergency Powers Act of 1945. This is Unlock Michigan, unlockmichigan.com. About Unlock Michigan is a coalition of concerned Michiganders who believe that Governor Gretchen Whitmer's crushing lockdown of life and business across Michigan is a dangerous threat to our livelihoods and constitutional liberties. We believe it is time for the people of Michigan to take back the power and remove the outdated law. I mean, I love and this channel. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of people throughout the state of Michigan doing a lot of good work. I want to share that with you guys so that you could find them. But please send me emails. I don't, I'm not really so hardcore on social media where I'm trying to learn and find all this stuff out right now. I'm mostly using the tools to make my shows for you guys at this point. Okay, let's look at Susan here. Those 5 states who wrote to Nestle need to declare the scandemic should be ended. When I was in high school back in the 60s, sorry about that. Whoa, look at that move I could do. Huh. When I was in high school back in the 60s, my BFF and I would take a bus from Trenton up to Detroit to go shopping at Hudson's and eat lunch at Victor Lim's. I don't know that place, the Victor's place. Victor Lim's Goyd? I don't know that one. Fat finger with no prints. That's your fingers. Hudson's was great. I was pretty young when they ended Hudson's. There's the new, what are they called now? Rocket Mortgage building going up in the Hudson spot. There was the Jacobson store. I remember when I was a little kid, my mom dragged me to all those places. What time we got here? 8:47. We're gonna probably try to end around 9ish, I imagine. I do want to talk about a controversial subject about me a bit, but about like us. Chinese restaurant. Do. What else is going on? No one's going out tonight. I was invited to go to an old manager of mine, a good friend, Nancy. Her son was playing out at a store in my neighborhood, and she asked me to go to the show, and it was right about 8 o'clock tonight. Now, I don't normally get asked to go out to do too many things, especially things in my neighborhood. And so that was tonight. So I haven't gone out really at all. I don't do anything. I think you guys know that about me. We'll go to full screen a second here. Where's my Telegram? Let me just get set up here. We're gonna go to a specific channel on Telegram. Okay. And I have the Telegram also set up on my, I showed it to you on my phone before, but I got it on my desktop now too, so it makes the screen share, I think, easier here. We're going to get to a subject in a minute, and let me get one more. Oops. Shoot. That just ruined it. You're not supposed to see that yet. Oh boy, I have 2 monitors, and this is the first live show, right? We expect a screw up here or there, especially with me. All right, so Telegram's this strange sort of area where, when you get kicked off Twitter, Gab sort of like it's good to find some things, but it's sort of an echo chamber. And I'm not really, I'm not digging for stuff. I'm sort of waiting. I know when the things are happening. I, well, let's look at this a second. Okay, so we're gonna kind of scroll through a couple of things and we're gonna talk. And this Ghost Ezra Telegram channel, I don't know anything really about it. This is along the lines of certain channels that pop up that I follow related to elements of the America First movement that I really like. And you know 2016, I was completely removed from all the politics, completely removed from all the media, all the news. I wasn't paying attention to anything. I was just working, and things changed because I kind of well, now we're in the fight to save the country. Before it was like kind of like teetering, and now we're like it's really Mayday, Mayday. Yeah, I shouldn't say Mayday, as that's the big commie holiday. All right, so Ghost Ezra, he's talking right now. Anything wrong with this picture? This is Khloe Kardashian. This is from Britney Spears. He writes all the queens, and he's got fire here, and we'll have to look at the comments. I don't really particularly want to talk about that controversial subject yet tonight. I think Saturday nights will be like controversial subjects, chilling, talking, and then the weekday shows will be a little bit more intense. But I want to kind of have chats available and do these things live from now on, so that might make it more interactive. We're going to talk about Israel for a moment tonight, and me personally, and like, well, let's try to let's do it this way here, right? This is controversial, but I am a controversial person. So, Ghost Ezra has been talking the last few days about the Zionist agenda and anti-Semitism in Israel, and Jewish people, and sort of the stereotypes that follow some of them around, like bankers and owning a lot of media and Hollywood. And as a Jewish person, I put it in quotes because it is funny that it's Jewish. I Here's Amanda, my friend. Ghost Ezra is one that has some seriously out there things to say. I think we're living in some seriously out there times. And what he says, I don't know. I'm not going to say I know everything that he said, and so I'm not going to give it a blanket statement there. But we're going to talk about some of this, and I'm not going to disagree, or we'll see if I disagree or not disagree with what he says here. But there in my research, it's shocking. It's completely shocking. I mean, the stuff that I have laid out right now is shocking. Let me. I mean, the one of the reasons why the truth is so hard for people, like going to Facebook in 2014, people really responded. They weren't happy with me doing that, and I sort of get it now because they don't want to be shocked, and they don't want their regular lives to be totally messed up. I don't think, because this is pretty disturbing stuff that we're talking about here. You know, um, I screwed this up. Here's the Christian cross, and you can see that it makes the cube. Here's the black cube of Mecca that you go on the pilgrimage and you walk around. Black cube of Saturn. Where's the Jewish star one? Is that the one that I lost? Well, we'll just do it this way, right? Jewish star cube. The cube, so the black cube fits in the Jewish star, which isn't really a Jewish star. Um, it folds out into the cross, and Islam run around it. And I learned about this. I did my show Baphomet. You know, it's the Baphomet cult that's been running this stuff. um, hold on. This is a good conversation we're having here. Amanda's, I'm open to anything, but we have discernment. I know what you're saying, too. Susan, I've heard that Palestinian Christians, the few left in or near Israel, get along better with the Palestinian Muslim than the Israeli Jews. No one has a corner on suffering. Going back a second, and we're going to get into that other element in a minute here, but my Baphomet show, a holiday variety show inspired by Satan, Satan, and Saturn. So when I learned about this black cube, cross, Mecca, Saturn elements, I mean, that's pretty shocking. And so, you know, you get thrown through. Oh, here's a good one for us since we're on the subject. Happy anniversary to the Satanic Temple. Had their unveiling in Detroit in 2015. Here's the Jewish Star Cube. And then I told this story in a video, and Shiva Honey, you're in the business, so go to her website, Serpente Official. But she was a friend of mine. These are like my friends. I hung out with artists and musicians, and then I had my school friends like Jamie, who's an attorney. But I have, because of my career path, and certainly my sort of lifestyle, I guess, too, I ran with, all sorts of different people. When one New Year's Eve, I was like there was only a few people there. It was at Slum Village at the Majestic Theater, which I went to by myself. I love doing all these things, running around in different crowds. I got to go to, art shows and hip hop shows and rock shows. And my last cat's name was Manson, named after Marilyn Manson, kind of going to the sacred cows that I was talking to Susan about via email. But my friend Shiva Honey's here, and there's Baphomet, and we met right around this time of all the people, I shouldn't say all the people, a lot of the people that I knew were, interested in the Satanic Temple unveiling, became members of the Satanic Temple, and I think this is a video. Oh shoot, I'm not logged in, so we can't watch it. I'm sorry, Shiva. She did a good video. I can't log in front of you guys or anything like that. She did a good video here where she's kind of talking about what is good Satanism, what isn't. So she argues that, Satanism is I don't know what she argues. It's not so good. She sells it a fake adrenochrome thing, and all this all this stuff gets me kind of wild. Obviously now, I saw her a couple years ago. I was bartending at a restaurant I used to work at, a Christmas party that they had, and she was doing tarot reading, or card, some sort of readings for the guests that came there. But we agreed that dirty judges running the government really bad, and then we totally went different ways. I'm sort of went more of a more traditional path, and she went sort of down the Baphomet cult path, if you will. What do we think of Tom McDonald? Who's Tom McDonald? I don't know if I know that guy right offhand. Tell me more about Tom McDonald. Maybe I know him. I not. I'm probably getting a little tired. How are you guys doing? It's 9. I hope I didn't close all the tabs that. So the ghost says that we still have to go talk about this. Foreign. This is Balfour Declaration, right? Foreign Office, November 2nd, 1917. Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet. His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country. I shall be grateful if you would bring this declaration to knowledge of the Zionist Federation, the Balfour Declaration. Here are the priorities in order facing the country, Zionist agenda. Oh, so Ghost Ezra's been saying this, and he's kind of been trying to educate people on what he believes is an important thing. And I do too. Here are the priorities in order facing this country. Zionist agenda, deadly, poisonous, election stuff. If you are dead or a slave, elections won't matter. As for evergreen spinning around in the Suez Canal, it's all a distraction from the 3 main issues. So, Ghost Ezra. Oh, Susan says that Tom McDonald's the white rapper that goes after snowflakes. When kids rule the world, Claus would like to be king. I'm hip to that snowflake. Like, I haven't heard the song. I am familiar that there is a song, or there is this guy that does that, but he's just cashing in on the moment. That was actually like I specifically didn't want to make videos from like that January minute on. It seemed like people were really, it was so chaotic, and it seemed kind of dirty to me. And I mean, obviously, we live in this world where people are trying to cash in and make money, and it's a very scary time. So people need to survive. But I don't really, I don't know. It's a weird time. So going back to this, I am Jewish. My parents are Jewish. My family's Jewish. My grandmother, who passed away a couple years back, she fled Germany, Nazi Germany. She called me Meshuggah, and which means crazy in Yiddish. And she was really she was a strong woman, tough. My mom's mom, and my mom's real kind of a softie, really nice. And so there is a lot. I want to find some Ghost Ezra comments on. So he's talking about the Talmud. Oh, let's read some of these. This is again controversial. Maybe I'm not gonna read because if a goy Gentile hits a Jew, he must be killed. If a Jew murders a goy, there will be no death penalty. What a Jew steals from a goy, he may keep. You know what is where when I was so I didn't have a bar mitzvah, and that in the Jewish religion is from being like a child to an adult, and so I'm a child forever. There was a time when I wrote a screenplay with a Hollywood screenwriter. It was called BJ's Bar Mitzvah, and it was I was about 30, I guess. And it was about a lost 30-year-old who was going to have a bar mitzvah for all the wrong reasons. And it was actually pretty good. And then Jeremy Piven, his Keeping Up with the Steins movie came out, which was also about a bar mitzvah, and that movie was pretty terrible. And I like to blame that my movie lost traction, or screenplay lost traction because of that. But now that I understand uh, the workings of the world a little bit better. There's no way that my movie was going to get made. You have to have some esoteric layers to it. What so as a kid, I remember I think I was asked if I wanted to go, and whenever I went to any of these big, all the religious places kind of, I guess they scared me when I was a child. Very like sort of rigid, and the bearded men maybe, and I don't know, the dark religious art. All religion. When as a child, I was kind of creeped out by all of it, and then I grew up in the '70s and the '80s, and my parents split when I was in fourth grade, and really I was like a pop culture guy, and that was what my job became, and so I really feel like I'm American first, and then I really identified as a Detroiter through my professional career, and I've been living down here and really a part of the Detroit sort of fabric, or at least I used to be, um, for a while, and now I don't feel that way. So this long story short with Susan and like Israel and Jews and Jewish people and all this anti-Semitism talk, and I mean all the racist stuff has to stop, and the anti-Semitic talk has to stop, and we have to prioritize and be smart. I've talked in just in these recent videos, about that spending bill. I don't know if it was signed January 5th or like, when the transgender money was going to some country, like 300 million to, which bill I'm talking about. All the money going to all these foreign lands. And then on top of it, if you study, you hear that, a lot of our representatives and senators, government people have dual citizenship, and that's crap. That's bullshit. I don't want. I don't care if it's a Jewish person or not Jewish person. I don't want dual citizenship from my U.S. senator. I want the U.S. senator to be focused on the U.S. people, and I want the Israeli senator to be focused on the Israeli people. And then I want the U.S. and Israel to work together to do different things, but not the way that this is all going. Not like that. So, and then on Gab, especially like going back to like 2013, 2014, when I really dug deep into the conspiracy world. It's tough when you hear like really bad things about your race, or when people talk bad about you. So even though I don't identify really at all as being Jewish, hearing bad things about Jewish people ting me. You do have a sense of pride that's ingrained in you through the years. So it's a complex issue, but I've never been to Israel. Israeli people, that's amazing. Um, how it happened. I try not to think too much about it. I have one friend who asks me about it all the time, and I say something along the lines like, it was like a North Korea type of creation. And, what that means is like the governments are all these sort of intelligence agencies that control the show. Yeah? All right. I might have got lost. So let's go back to, let's see what Susan's got here. I was getting lost in my talk here. I saw your stuff about the rapper. You have to listen to him for yourself, she says. Nothing wrong with being a bit sugar, that's for sure. Check out that Topol movie of early days of Israel. Will do. So Talmud is post Babylon exile. I haven't read Talmud. I do like when the Stephen Colbert clip when he rails and like is Hollywood, welcome to Hollywood Babylon, or whatever. What a creep that guy is. there is a lot of things about, the protocols that I've heard, and certainly images that I've seen, that really, make me scared and question, you know, all this stuff. But like I'm going to say that there are, radical sects and, traditional and good people and bad people, or, all these sort of different degrees you could probably find in all of it. Now, uh, so like with Gab, or like back in 2013, 2014, when you're doing the first research and you see, all the like the name calling, and there's like it's the Jews, the Jesuits. I have it the way that I say it, and so it's not necessarily that people are anti-Semitic, they're not racist. This isn't a talk like that at all. This is about trying to understand who's controlling the situation and identifying, so that the people, the worldwide people, not just the U.S. people, not just the Detroit, Michigan people or whatever. I mean, this is a worldwide thing that's happening right now. Trump kept talking about how amazed he was. 187 nations all have this COVID thing going on. It's all the United Nations. It's the Rockefeller Foundation. It's the things that we've been talking about this whole time. And, so it's multiple groups working together. Jesuits and Jews and Rockefellers and Rothschilds and the Club of Rome and the Bilderbergs and the Bohemian Grove and Hollywood. And then I don't have time to tell this story like the way that I would want to, but you have to look at the bloodlines, right? And you know that there's the black pope and there's the white pope. The white pope being, like Pope Francis, but the black pope is a superior general of the Jesuits. Pope Francis actually is the first out Jesuit pope, but black pope. When I first heard the phrase, I thought the black pope was a black person, right? Come on. Let's see. Why is this taking so long to get in there? All right, so there's the black pope and the white pope. These guys kind of run it. And then how I learned it is that, and there's a whole alien talk, and you could probably hear the helicopters outside. Back last year, I could tell where the protesters were by listening to the helicopters go by. But how I learned it, and there's the black pope and the white pope, and then there's the grays, which is the in between the Illuminati bloodline families ultimately. And so it's a big group that runs the show. We're not in it, and they're consolidating power and money even more. I don't think money really matters much to any of them. All right. 9:15. Send me a couple more comments. I think I'm getting tired here. And I think I kind of did a pretty good live show here. We got to know each other a little bit more. I worked out some kinks. I didn't go through all the secrets that I wanted to. So like next week, I could go down another taboo subject in detail. What do you guys think? I'm going to leave this up, though. I want people to learn about me. I don't mind the mistakes as I kind of do this. And I think it helps. Like, I want you to know me. Like, people, there are people that do know me, and then there are people that don't know me. And I want you all to know me. I want you to trust me. I'm not out there doing reporting. I can't go to that Haggerty Road Trump rally on Monday because I'm not in a car, and that's okay. I'm just kind of doing this stuff here and getting set up, and there's enough news that comes this way to keep up with it. I could try to make this work. I do want to do fresh reporting, of course, but I got the jam stuff I'm going to open back up, and we have a big election coming up, so I think I'm gonna, stay busy pretty well. Any other? Oh, well, we could do that next week. Any other thoughts? I should look to see how many people are. Anyone still here watching? Uh oh. Seems like my computer might be freezing up too. It's interesting. Looks like Amanda's. I'm looking at my phone real fast. My YouTube page is frozen here. Is my stream frozen? That would stink. There's no way for me to know. Oh, that's on Telegram. All right, well, I guess since I'm frozen shut and it doesn't look like any more comments are coming through and my machine's heating up, we're just going to end it now. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight and hanging out with me. And next show, Monday, I didn't get to ask the question, is it better to do it at night or in the morning? Maybe at night. Because I could work all day getting it together and then do like an 8 o'clock show like this. I don't know. Let me know what you think.